Getting that old reliable. I ain't flew her in quite a while. I hope the batteries are still good. And I'm using the stock transmitter, which I usually don't do. One of the motors is already acting up. I crashed it in the house last night. There it went. I just broke it. I can't see the numbers on this remote. I usually use the MJX 800 remote. I'll have it crash while I figure out what the hell's going on. Can't see the numbers on this remote. Yeah, I done messed it up. I done changed so many numbers. Let's see. I ain't never trusted this remote. That might be where I want it. I'm going to test it here close. This is actually my favorite toy out of all of them. When I first got these things, I couldn't stand them. Got to be an old pro changing the motors. I got one, I bashed that thing to death. This near ain't fared much better. When they fly good. And I do recommend using the MJX 800 remote. It's more of a Game Boy type remote, but I believe it's got more range and more function for sure. Batteries in this is about half dead. They've been stored for a while. Definitely fly this one on a no wind day and against the wind. And it being a hex, it'll get away from you. There's a lot of them, they had the Wi-Fi versions of this, and it was making them crash. And then I actually myself innovatively took a Wrigley's gum wrapper, which is paper on one side and aluminum foil on the other. And what you do is you put it between the camera, the Wi-Fi camera, and it fixes it. It stops it from interfering with the remote. You believe that? And I tried it by accident one day. We got a little breeze. These would make a wonderful night flyers, but they got to be high so you can appreciate the lights. So you can't see the lights going, but when they're above your head, you can see them. So if you're, one of those that really like to fly high in the air, and with the prop guards gone and the prop legs gone off of it, she will tote a Mobius. You just have to figure out what camera mount. A lot of us older people took the little cheap zip ties and cut down one of those cheap throwaway like credit cards or discount cards, and I actually hot glued one to the trap door with the zip ties hanging out, and then run the zip ties through the other one, and it would kind of give it a little bounce wiggle, and you'd be surprised how much of the jello it would take out. I mean, sometimes 100%. It was just freaking uncanny. Now let's see. Now I haven't. Let's bring her down now. I haven't flown with this remote here. I adjusted the sticks on it. You can't see. I've got several of these. This is my last one of the MJXs. I got to where I was taking the landing gear off because it lets it fall over and messes with the motor. Okay, so let's do that calibration there. See how it does, and do the calibration there. You can't really tell unless the lights is looking at you. Alright, now, see the wind's picking up. It's coming this way. So, I'm going to set the remote. I don't know why this stick mod. Let's see, function camera. I forget how to set headless mode on this thing. Okay, so you don't want to do that. Headless mode is you hold the jump mode button. So I got used to using the MJX 600 remote, and you could swap it over to the green light and on it, and it moved the buttons around to where they was more familiar to me. And here comes Anderson and Goober here. Who can't stand it. Now the people who delivered my medicine told them my name, so I'm looking forward to that. You know, sometimes in life you just get people who haven't got nothing better to do. They'll just attach to you, and they'll make you want to kill them. I mean, honestly. And, you know, people talking about guns all the time. I think that's what it is. There's so many idiots in this world and so many pansy women that, you know, the women like to run their mouth. And they get away with it, you know, because us men, we don't smack them, you know. And the grown-ups has got that way, too. And the more you keep letting them get away with it, actually the worse they get. And then they teach that crap to their kids. And then 90% of them talking about, well, I don't whoop my kids. Well, I see why, because your kid's a brat. I mean, honestly, and your kid's not going to be mean to my kid because you're a SOB. And let your kids get away with it, because I'm going to get my kid to ride y'all's school bus and point out y'all's house, and I'm going to pay you a fucking visit. And it ain't going to be nice to visit I'm going to pay. We ain't going to be putting one another in the corner and talking about it or taking a video game. I'm going to be taking a ball bat to your ass. I mean, because my child's a little angel. I mean, everybody says, mine is. Until you take her tablet, and then you feel like bashing yourself in the head with a hammer. Now, I'm not too sure about the range because the batteries is about dead, so I'm going to bring this one down. I named this drone after Pookie, my long companion. He was 4 days before he was 20 years old. And there was another guy on another site that had one, you know, everybody loved him. Yeah. But, you know, now they say don't turn the knob on this one 100%. We're supposed to speed up the reaction time. And I've learned I keep mine at about 75 to 80%. just in case. And I'm telling you, with a tarantula battery, a good tarantula battery, you get pushing at 17 minutes fine with this thing. And if you're in a good open field, you know, where you can do some maneuvers with the landing gear and the prop gear, I mean, you know, everything off this thing, she'll do some maneuvers. You can actually, there's too much stuff in the way. Like you can get her up, full throttle up, and then drop the throttle, then punch the flip, and she'll just get down. She'll do barrel rolls. People say she only flips certain directions. Bull crap. You just gotta know what you're doing. Most times she'll only, for normal people, flip forward or backwards. I believe that's how it goes. I can get mine to a barrel roll, but I ain't got enough room to. You gotta get her really freight training to do it. Get her really moving. I got a lot of my batteries from Flyco. I paid for them, but I did get them at a discount. And I ain't heard nothing else from him. I got a bad batch, but I didn't even say nothing to him, you know. It's the limb cutter. The stuff's grown so much around here. Let's find out. Say, okay, that's the forward backer flip. Forward backer flip. All right, now watch this. Forward backer flip only. I got flashing lights. I don't even know if you can even buy motors for this anymore. So I'm gonna baby it. I got another one in there that still flies, but I broke the frame. I've got her duct taped and everything else. I don't particularly like this remote. A lot of people do, I just don't. Even with the MJX 101 I had, I used the MJX 800 remote. I mean, I could make it dance. But this Super Quad Flyer is signing out here in Lindale.